Good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. Tonight, you know, if it's Wednesday, it's all about politics. And yes, let's face it, POTUS has been gone for a while, but we're still reeling from what he did, what he said, where he went, how he did it. And yes, let's admit, we were on our best behavior while he was in town. As soon as Air Force One took off, well, we were back to our old ways. And we're going to keep talking about this because, as I keep saying, we got to keep talking, because the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting. And we don't want to go down that slippery slope. So, let's break it down even more. My guest today, constitutional lawyer, well-established businessman, a man who's working on his PhD. Any day now I'll have to call him doctor. God help us. He has two initials, simply KK. His Twitter handle is at Karanja Kabage. Mine is at Koinange Jeff. Let's use the hashtag KK. Sit back. KK is in the house.
Pleasure, George.
Doctor soon.
Yeah.
One of these days. One of these days.
It takes time.
How you doing, KK?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Okay, let's start with POTUS. And you were in Gigiri, KK, during GES, Global Entrepreneurial Summit, GES 2015.
Yes.
Which was a big deal, KK. Let's face it. POTUS was in town. He took a lot of the glory. But you all in Gigiri, there's a lot happening.
Yes. Well, I think first of all, let me say, initially I was skeptical about his coming and so forth. But the moment he landed, he had his schedule chock-block.
Yeah, up to the minute.
Up to the minute, everything. But give it to him. He performed an awesome job when he was here. And the country should really feel very proud, not only because it was an American president. He came because we share his Americanism as much as the Americans share his Kenyanism. So we are proud. We take great exception to his visit to this country. I don't think if he had come earlier, it would have had the kind of impact it had at this particular moment. I was privileged to be at GES at Gigiri as part of the government delegation, and I can tell you it was an awesome experience. And I must admit that Obama will live in history as a person that not only had a unique impact on Kenya, but the man is globally going to be recognized as a person that has tried to change the narrative of humankind.
Do you think anyone was listening though, KK? I mean, look, all the critics back in the US were saying this man is going back to Kenya to look for his birth certificate. You know, they're trying to water down the importance of his trip. You think people were listening?
Let me persuade Kenyans and the world. Don't worry about what Donald Trump, childish kind of talk. I mean, with all the proof that there has been, Obama was born in Hawaii. The idea of debunking him because he has a heritage that is partly African, let's put it that way. There's no reason for the simple-minded and the myopic leaders, or individuals for that matter, in the US or any other part of the world, to take Obama along that path. I mean, he's way above, no question about that. And let's face it, if you look at a couple of notable achievements that he has had, for 50 years, the past US presidents have tried to come up with healthcare program to take care of the vulnerable Americans. And they have never been successful. It's only he who managed to get it. Look at what has happened for over 50 years Cuba has been a pariah nation, a pariah nation. Today, as we speak here, the Cuban embassy in Washington has been opened.
Unbelievable.
August, John Kerry, the Secretary of State, will be opening the American embassy in Havana. It is a great achievement. Recently, there was a conclusion of 5+1 and Iran nuclear deal. And that again, since 1979, there has never been a rapprochement between the United States or generally between the West and Iran. Right now, as we are talking about, they are debating the merits and demerits of a nuclear deal that has been entered between 5+1 and Iran.
Yeah.
It's an incredible achievement.
KK, do you think he doesn't get credit because he's black? Should we face it? He doesn't get the kind of credit that, let's say, a white American president would have gotten for all these achievements.
Well, people may not want to admit that, but that's a fact. That's a fact. They don't want to give credit to him because of his heritage. But let me tell you, history is unique because history will give him the distinction of a great American president, which individuals or the current leaders in America, particularly the Republicans, do not want to give it to him.
Yeah.
Because you can see results. He has achieved what very few people have achieved or even dreamt of achieving. So for me, Obama is a global citizen, and nobody's going to take it away from him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
KK, would you have thought the impact he had in Kenya, would you have thought it would have been that large, that great, that overwhelming? Because he left here and people were like, wow, something great just happened.
Let me tell you, if you look at Obama, from the time he landed at Jomo Kenyatta Airport and was received by his host, Uhuru Kenyatta, to the time he had, he addressed the conference, the GES, at United Nations, to the time he went to pay homage to the lives that were lost at the American Embassy in 1988. To the time he went to address Kenyans at Kasarani, an incredible speech that he gave. To the time he went to have a dialogue on one-to-one with the students at Kenyatta University. I mean, the guy had a message for every one of us. And that program, if you look at it, it was so tight. I'm sorry, I wasn't privileged to come for dinner at the State House, but I understand you are there.
I was there.
Oh, you are seen.
By the way, the dinner was great.
It was great.
It was great.
That's right. And really, you could see Obama had a program that was completely packed. But more importantly is his ability to communicate his message to across the board. He impacted on everybody who listened to him. Now, but more importantly, he was very realistic. And I think we must come back to the domestic politics and acknowledge one thing. Just prior to Obama's arrival in the country, there was a lot of hurrabaru, and especially from the opposition, that they laid it out, what they're going to tell Obama about the crimes or the misuse and abuse that has taken place under the Uhuru Kenyatta's administration. And it was like anti-climax when, after he addressed the Kasarani conference, he had a short meeting with the opposition. And you know, interestingly enough, he read a riot act to them. He said, you want me to push the Kenya government because of this or that. But I think you have very short memory. Each one of you has been very negative in terms of condemning America, that we are interfering with the Kenya government when you are in government. But now that you're not in government, you want us now to be on your side. Hey, wait a minute, we don't play that cheap. Basically, that's what he was telling.
Yeah.
And more importantly, and I think these Kenyans should really appreciate, particular leadership, that the capacity of the Americans to know you from the day you are born to what you think, and even when you think you are doing it privately, to what you are doing, all doing through proxies. They know it inside out. They have your dossier.
They know everything.
They know everything.
You can't hide.
So you can fool Kenyans by, you know, saying whatever you want to say, but please don't fool the knowledgeable. And that is what has been happening in this country.
Yeah.
And what I also found very interesting, one of the television stations did a very interesting thing. When it was quoting what Obama said to the opposition, it brought out cuttings, it brought out captions of each one of them. I don't have to mention, you know who they are.
Yes.
Every one of them telling the Americans, don't get involved, don't tell us this, don't do this and that and that. And I think they were shocked because they expected them to be the darling of the Americans. And they also forget one thing. Americans are in business to deal with governments. In this country, they know they have to deal with Uhuru Kenyatta. He is the only one who can sign on anything. Anything can, it's only him.
Yeah.
So when you imagine that you're going to be a crying baby before Obama so that he can do anything that you think you are doing, I think you are kidding yourself. You don't understand the simple thing called the state-to-state relationship.
Has the opposition been neutralized, KK? Has it been neutralized for now?
I think they are in ICU now. Let us face it. I mean, that's what they are. They are trying to really
resuscitate,
develop what game plan they're going to have. Because if I was any one of them, I'll probably call for 24-hour sleep. Then I wake up and hopefully I'll be something, and I forget what has happened. I know they tried to be very brave in telling Kenyans, oh, we were not done this, we were not done that. It wasn't necessary. Nobody asked them about that, right? Yeah. But they know the impact of what it is. And Obama is not a fool. No, he's not a fool.
Yeah.
He understands these things very well.
Yeah.
So this is really a major lesson, in my opinion, that we Kenyans must begin to understand that we have to be patriotic. We have to love our country. Because Obama really basically was telling these people, wait a minute, please coalesce among yourselves, be Kenyans, develop your own country. And it is only when Kenya is strong that every Kenyan of whatever description is going to be respected.
Yeah.
It's not when you condemn fellow Kenyans. It's not when the only thing you see is the glass is half empty. No. We must develop, for us to be people of dignity, the first priority is that you have to be patriotic. It doesn't mean you cannot bring out the ills. It doesn't mean you cannot point out the mistakes. It doesn't mean that you must go wrong with whatever is being done by Uhuru administration. There are a number of things I personally don't agree with, all right? But you cannot make it a preoccupation that every minute, including when you have guests, the only thing you can do is bring out the negative things. No. I think we have to see what is at stake is our country. And we don't have an alternative to this country. Not even the leaders of the opposition, not even the leaders of government have a substitute to this country. No. And I can tell you this, for free. I'm very privileged. I've traveled to many parts of the world, exceedingly so. I will not exchange Kenya for any country.
Would not?
I would not.
KK, that's a good point. I want to come back to that after the break and also ask you the question, barring any unforeseen circumstance, has Barack Obama, in essence, endorsed Uhuru Kenyatta for another 5 years? Think about that answer. Has he endorsed him? Is 2017 a foregone conclusion? Think about it. Also, Addis Ababa, the speech of the AU, he spoke out against third-termers, dictators, wealthy presidents staying in power. It was powerful, KK, I think. Let's talk about that after the break. KK in the house. Twitter handle at Karanja Kabage, mine at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag we're using tonight, KK. Let's speak out openly without fear or favor. KK coming out, guns blazing. Let's take a break. JKL takes a quick break. We'll be back in a moment.